insights that I respect so much. So he is the CEO of NEVEAH Limited. I might not call it well, but he will do justice to that when he's telling us a story. Is a company that is into commodities exports. Before that, he had already founded 2 organizations. I'm very well aware of the first organization that he founded. He took it from ground zero to become a global organization before he founded Activo Global Investment. He's an Ibadan-born serial entrepreneur. Against all odds, this man has showed us that it doesn't matter where you're coming from, you can actually succeed. He's a man of deep insight, he's well-read. He was a master's of business administration from Drexel University in the United States. He became a millionaire at the age of 21. I still have some of the cuttings of the newspaper advert he made as far back as 2007. He's a man I respect so much. And I'm very happy and honored to have him. So if you feel the same way, can you just drop in the chats so that you can see how excited we are? You know, you don't get to discuss every time with someone of deep insight, a billionaire for that matter. So can you drop it in the chat how excited you have to be in this session? It's going to be recorded, so kindly drop in the chat how excited you are to have Ibidapo Lawal share with us from his word of experience. Can you please drop it on the chat? How excited you are to be in this session today? So my own personal senator, can you please test if your mic is optimal, sir? You are a co-host.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Good evening.
Yeah, good evening. Excellent.
Good evening, everyone.
Yeah, good evening, sir. So we are welcome to have you. Please, the mic is yours, and take us to the level you want to take us to. Thank you. Over to you, sir.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. Thanks a lot for the introduction. Thanks to everyone for making our time to join us today. I'll actually start by sharing my personal story. I know that today there are a lot of excuses. People tell you that Nigeria is a tough place. Things don't work. And I see that a lot of people are trying to relocate out of the country, you know, in droves. But I still believe like that this is a country where we can all, you know, make it, depending on the mindset. I actually grew up in a family, in a house where I lost my dad when I was 10. It was actually an average family. After our father passed away, our financial situation changed. And from being a middle-class family, we all had to go stay with my grandmom in Molete, Ibadan, then where we all lived in a one-room apartment. You know, a face me, I face, you know what a face me, I face is called. My mom was a teacher at the time. My father used to work in an oil company. But as it passed, the fortune of the family changed. So I was 10, you know, there were days we had to do, there's something called 101, where you eat in the morning. Sometimes there's something to eat in the afternoon, and then you eat again at night. Or days you had to just make do whatever was available in the afternoon, you know, for a couple of years. So at the point, I figured out that there has to be a better way, you know, to live than this. That it's very important to be successful so that you actually would be able to, you know, eat when you want to eat, also be able to go to school when you want to, you know, and also be able to help your family members. It didn't make sense at the time to have 4 people, 3 kids and a mom sleep in the same room, in a one-room apartment in a face me, I face you. When it was time to pay school fees, probably was hard. Things had to be rationed. Food was rationed. You know, going to college was rationed. You had to wait for your younger brother, or you had to be the first to go. 2 people can't go to school at the same time because of funds. So I wanted more in life. I didn't want to, I want better. I wanted to help my people. I wanted to be able to contribute to society. I figured it was very important to be successful. So that drove me, and I had a clear vision. The first thing I'm going to say is, number one, to make the best out of this world, you need to have a vision. I'm just telling you what drove me. And I said, at so age, I need to be as in maybe be a millionaire. I just want to be very, very successful, and that was it. That was the starting point. And as I grew, I decided, then I got involved in reading books. Some of the books I read, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. I read another book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and a couple of other books. Those helped me with forming my ideas or shaping, my thoughts. And I quickly understood that the best way to become wealthy was actually to work for myself. Because if you read Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad Poor Dad, he talked about the 4 quadrants: the E, the B, the I, and the S. If you're E, you're an employee. If the S quadrant, you're self-employed. Then the I, the investors, and then the B, the business owners. So he stated clearly in that book, I and B. I was like, okay, well, I'm going to go to school, do something, but business is going to be the way. So I knew what I wanted, and I started working towards my vision. The question today is a lot of people don't know what they really want. If you can ask someone, where do you want to be 4 years from now? What's your goal for 2021? Where do you see yourself 10 years from now? A lot of people can't answer that question. We need to have a clear vision. You need to know, what do you want? Do you want to be the best athlete? By when? By what time? You have to be specific. We all need to have goals. That's very, very important. So that's my first point. You need to have a clear vision. Number 2, you have to start with what you have. I know if I ask the audience today, how you were trying to start a business, how much do you need? Some people say I need 100 million. Some will say I need 500 million. Some will say I need 1 billion. I want to start an airline. Some people want to start, the next Google, Facebook, or whatever it is. But what I've learned in my little journey is that you need to start with what you have. Look at your current situation. Find a problem and then provide a solution. But look at things that you can actually, start with what you have. My first company was actually, and the company was called High Health Resources. It was a company that provided online payment solutions to Nigerians at the time. Some years back, the company was started 2005 March. That was when we placed our first advert in Success Digest, to advertising the product. Then people couldn't get credit cards in Nigeria. So there was a company in the US called GraphCard. It was started by an Harvard, a Nigerian who went to Harvard at the time, where you actually fund the accounts using a domiciliary, you fund through a domiciliary account. They had a rep in Nigeria, and then you could generate virtual cards, $25 cards, $50 cards, $100, maximum was $500. So I knew how to do the cards at the time. And a friend was like, why can't you just, I was okay, I know how, there's a problem. People can't actually they can't get credit cards to make payments. If you were to pay for an application fee, there was no way to do it. If you wanted to buy something on ClickBank, there was no way to pay because we didn't have Nigerian credit cards, or you call MasterCard or Visa card. But there was a company called GraphCard who provided solutions for Africans. But a lot of people didn't know about it. What did I have to do? I looked for a platform where people were probably prone, or to making online purchases, or people, So I said, okay, let me put an advert out for this particular service I could provide at the time, which I did. Paid, I think, 5,000 for the classified advert in Success Digest at the time. Wrote the cards. I listed the cards 25 to 500 and put the Naira figure. So people, all I had to put up was money for the card and a phone number. So I got someone to design it. Then Awoyemi, my brother, they found a jobber man, designed the advert for me, and then we placed the ad in Success Digest. The business took off. I was a student, put 5,000 down. The first month we had some 5,000 in sales. People bought some cards, maybe 10 or 12. People paid for the card, and then I paid the GraphCard company, and then I sent them the card details. That was my first business. The first 3 months were struggling, but we tweaked the business as we went along. And that takes me to my third point. I'll tell people to stop making excuses. At the time when I was starting that business, I didn't even have a phone. I just lost my phone. I called my younger brother, who was then in Federal Poly at the time. Okay, can I just use your phone? I have a SIM. I had to, just get a phone. My phone is lost. We're not like a rich family. Can I use your phone for like a month or so? He gave me his phone. I put my SIM card, got a number. I put the number on the card. Started with that. I wasn't thinking. I was in Ife. There was no GT Bank in Ife at the time that you could go make dollar payments into. We have to travel from Ife, OAU, and travel to Ibadan for each card payment. You tell the customers you had like a day or two to make payments. I didn't think, there was no way. I didn't have a phone. I didn't have I had to travel to Ife. What about if they didn't work? I just went ahead with it, and the business took off. From there, we started, getting customers. The pricing was even wrong. I wasn't even sure if the pricing would work. Because if you're selling a 5,000, then I think the $25 card was going for 5,500. My profit margin was 500 on the card. If I were to travel from Ife to Ibadan and come back, transport alone, the profit is gone. It was later we tweaked the prices, and then the business kicked off. So I'll tell people today, people will tell you nothing is working. There are so many odds against me. Nothing is easy. We all have to just start with what you have. Just get started. As you align, things will start falling in place. And that was how that business, took off gradually. And then we went into other businesses and to where we are today. The third thing I'm going to tell you here is you need to surround yourself with quality people. Les Brown says OQP. It's very important, as young men and women, to actually surround ourselves with people that will encourage us. People that would actually support you, not just people that you party together. I have friends I party with, but also we share ideas together. People that will help you grow. People that will encourage you. So as much as possible, you need to look around I personally select my friends. I have a lot of people that want to be my friends. When I go up, I say, can I have your number, XYZ? But people I gravitate towards are people that I know that we can both benefit from each other. Not necessarily materially. It might be in terms of advice, it could be in terms of different things, So surround yourself. You can, with people that will encourage you to grow. That's very important. The fifth thing I'm going to talk about is, like in Nigeria, anywhere in the world, you have challenges. It's very true. There's so many times you're going to want to give up. I've failed twice, woefully. When I say failed twice, woefully, I've been broke. After making my first million at 21, at the time, I actually then, I think I built my first house in Lagos at 25 on the island. And I think that was a particular business idea. We're trying to export a particular product, hibiscus flower, to Germany. We had a contract. There was a contract that we meant to finalize. I sold my first house at the time, to finance that deal. The deal didn't work. The house, I sold it for 50% of the price, hoping that I was going to do the exports and the business would, pan out. After selling the house, everything went bust. And, I lost a lot of money. But even at that, I didn't give up. I remained persistent. The same business I sold the house for in 2009 or 10, that's about 11 years ago. That's the same business I'm hoping, would actually get us to the next level. My goal is to build a firm, an export firm out of Nigeria with $1 billion in revenue, hopefully in the next 4 years. Maybe when I'm actually, my goal is, we're shooting, okay, in the next 4 years, get to $1 billion in revenue. It doesn't really mean that we might hit that number, even though that's the goal, even if we miss it by a year or 2 or 3, but we have a goal we're working towards. But that same business 11 years ago is what pays my bill today, that takes care of my family, and we have employees, I think about 36 right now. I mean, full employees. We have other people that work for us. If you look at our casual workers, everything, we're looking at a staff strength of about maybe 350. But employees with pension, everything about 36, about 350, and we still intend to hire more in the next in the next 1 month or 2, adding about 100 people to our payroll, as permanent workers. So you can't give up. You would fail. It's a certain, it's certain you're gonna fail, but you can't afford to give up. There are times when you put your best foot forward, things will not work out the way you expect, but be persistent. People will laugh at you. When I sold my first house, one of my aunties I used to look up to at the time, laughed and said, oh, yeah, okay, now he sold his house. He's always doing this, he's trying XYZ. Can you see what happened? Let me now blow your mind. There's an entrepreneur I admire so much in Nigeria. He's a billionaire. His name is, I don't know. He said when he was starting his diesel business, he sold his house then in Lagos. He sold his house and went to his father to help him with some more money to start his business. Can you guess who that person was? His name is Femi Otedola, the guy that founded Xenon. He sold his house. He said he sold his first house, in Lagos. So, and it worked out for him. But unfortunately, when I took my own step, it didn't work out for me. But today, my house is not that big, but it's a better house than the first one I sold in, and I own it free and clear. So there will be challenges. Don't give up. People would mock you. People would tell you you're crazy, but you have to be persistent. You have to be persistent. You have to believe in your idea, and then you have to go for it. Another thing I'm going to tell you, the sixth thing on my list is you have to be open-minded. You have to have an open mind. I remember in 2007, then I was living in Victoria Garden City. I was, in Lagos. And then I was 22 years old. I invited all my friends. Then I used to run an online train, an education company, then, and I called all my friends at the time. Okay, come to my house. I'm looking for the next idea. What can we do? What do you think will make money? So about 7 of them. And someone said he saw an article in the papers. It was about exporting charcoal to Europe. I said export charcoal. It was in business day. I said export charcoal. So that my friend, I did tell you, Joe, probably came and he said, okay, this is what he saw. So it was a Sunday. I picked up the phone. I read the article. The man said he can make 30% margin. So I called him up. The guy's name is Shiemi Kototi. He's a former special advisor to one of the governors in Nigeria. So I called this man. We're interested in this business. How do you export? The first thing was how do you export charcoal from Nigeria, from Lagos, and how does it arrive Europe? Think about it. Those are the odds. How do you get paid? This is like 2007. I'm talking about almost like 14 years ago. How do you collect your payment? Which bank account do you have to open? There were so many things that didn't make sense. How do you source the goods locally? Where are you going to buy from? Is it in Ogun State, in Oyo? When the opportunity came, I didn't close my mind to it. We ran with the idea, and then we did our first exports. The man said I was going to pay me 140,000 naira or so. 200,000 or so, I can't remember, for the contract. So I paid him 70% of the money. It was a GT check I wrote him that day. So I wrote him a GT bank check. He said, okay, I should come back in 2 weeks. I was going to give me a contract. He gave me a piece of paper. It was scanned back and forth. I'm like, are you sure this is legit? So a company called Hauschu Chemie GmbH in Germany. They used to import charcoal from Nigeria. So that was how we started, the export business. So they gave me the contract. I didn't doubt. I introduced me to suppliers. We went ahead. I went to meet the suppliers. We bought the charcoal. He introduced me to freight forwarder. We paid the forward. We got our first payment. I said, so this works. That was how we got into charcoal business. But we could only do one container at a time. Then later, we got other companies, worked with another consultant, and then they helped us. So I was actually open-minded. Even that same company today, this year, we're projecting conservatively. That is the same idea, the same business that has kept us going from 2007 till date. I've not done any other business in the past, how many years? 14 years, even though NEVEAH is about 7 years old. I used to have a different firm before I went to the States. And when I came back, registered NEVEAH and then started, pushing. So what I'm saying is be open-minded. Ideas will come. There will be opportunities, just be able to identify and then run with it. Don't make excuses like, oh, this cannot work. Are you sure this guy, do we trust this guy? We pay someone. I paid this man on a Sunday at a place called Kiksinjo in Surulere. I paid him 140,000. I didn't know his office. I didn't know his house. I won't do that again today, but I just paid him and business took off. And then from there, we started exporting. At the peak in 2010, before Europe went into recession, charcoal, we were moving 20 containers of charcoal a week. I was buying from Kwara State, a place called Bodishadu. And in Kwara, we were buying, from Ajashekpo, and we bought from Igangon, Igono, Iwirele. We were pushing 20, 40-foot containers a week. Then Europe hit, there was recession. And then the business, kind of like the buyers, there were issues. We had to now look for new markets and everything. Success. So just be open-minded. Opportunities will come your way, find them and seize it. To my next point, we all have to be patient. Rome was not built in a day. I sometimes sit down and I tell maybe my team, people I work with, that we have been exporting for 14 years. NEVEAH Limited is 7 years old, and I feel that the 14 years of hard work is just about to pay off, because now we understand the business. We know what works. We know what kind of payment terms we meant to ask our suppliers, our buyers. We know what we need to do to get the best supplies. We understand quality. We understand financing. We understand a lot of things. 14 years of hard work. But a lot of people would tell you today, say, oh, wow, the guy is just lucky. But people will not know when we started in 2007 and how many times it failed before we finally got it. There were days we shipped to buyers in Europe that they ran away. They didn't pay us. In Portugal, I've been swindled. In South Africa, I've been scammed. In Bahrain, we've lost money. In Bahrain, in Portugal, in South Africa, I'm in Nigerian, and we've exported goods to buyers that ran away with our money, but we did not give up. We stayed focused. I remained resilient that we will make this work no matter what. There will be other shiny objects that will come your way. People will tell me, come and invest in this startup company. People will say, come and invest, do something, it's better, this business is fast. No, I'm like, no. The number one export company today in Nigeria is Olam. They do $1 billion a year in exports. Well, if I know Olam is doing $1 billion a year, why do I need to go to look for another line of business? Why should I give up? Why? There are other companies doing well. A lot of export companies, doing very well. I have a friend that does $200 million a year right now. Not tomorrow. He's doing $200 million a year in exports, 200 million. The guy is young, probably not 40 yet, and he's pushing $200 million a year. So I'm like, okay, we just stay focused. So we need to be patient. Rome was not built in a day. And I'm going to take you real quick. That Jesus waited 30 years to start his ministry. And I think the ministry was from 30 to 33, just 3 years, and he did all he had to do. So he didn't just come, and when he came as a child and he said, okay, I'm going to start my ministry now. He even waited 30 years for the right time. So as in everything we're going through, the knowledge, everything, even though you're trying something, it's not working out, it's just going to help you become a better person. Be help you well positioned, until you get to where you want to be. I think this should be my last point number 8. I'll say don't relocate to Nigeria works. When I left America in 2012, at the time, after the charcoal industry and Europe went boom, I was like, it's time for me. I always wanted to do an MBA. I wanted to go to business school because of some of the mentors I looked up to at the time. One of them being Chief Dende Fernandez. He's late now, of blessed memory. Chief Dende Fernandez went to Columbia Business School. Another person that I admired so much at the time was Chief Aria Conde. Aria Conde owned AIC Consultants. Very, very wealthy guy. Lives in Chicago at the time in America. He went to Kellogg's, Another person I admired so much at the time was Kesi Lawal. Kesi Lawal is probably the richest Nigerian in America today, with whole rigs in Texas. He went to Texas A&M. He has an MBA. So I looked at most of these guys and I was like, oh, wow. A lot of these people went to business school in America. So I said, okay, let me go to business school and see what I can add, learn something, just add value. After I finished in America, I decided to come back to Nigeria. People told me I was crazy. I moved back home in 2018, September 1. I can't forget. That's the best decision I've ever made. The company, like when we came back, people thought, oh, this guy is crazy. Why are you coming back to Nigeria? I was like, this is where the opportunity is. Even the richest man in Africa, like Aliko Dangote, he says it. They said the kind of returns that you can get in Nigeria, you can't get anywhere else in the world. People will tell you there's insecurity. I agree. People will tell you there are no jobs. Then find something you can do yourself. You can be a fashion designer making clothes. People will patronize you. You can be someone, you can start a nail salon and do it the right way. People patronize you. Our first product that we did 1 billion in sales, I'll blow your mind. 1 billion. The first 1 billion we sold as a company was in 2017 from one product. It was Zobo. Do you know what Zobo is? Hibiscus flower. Zobo. My friends, Aboki friends, I call them. My northern friends call me Serikin Zobo. You know, it means the king of Zobo. Zobo, like, it was the first product we exported in Nigeria in 2017. That's 4 years ago. We did $1 billion in sales. $1 billion naira selling Zobo. You know, and there are other products. People, you just have to. So from fashion, you can make money. There are people like Shui Vudi. There are people, you know, like people like Africana. People, you know, great guys. You know, people, Charles of Africana. People doing awesome things. You can make clothes, do something. You can go into construction. Be like Sujimoto. Young boy, took him like 9 years or how many years to raise his first funding. You know, so this guy is building the tallest skyscraper in Banana Island, doing awesome. So like, there is really no reason for anyone to say, I want to move to Canada. I want to relocate to Japan. I want to, you know, Nigeria doesn't work. I sometimes joke with my friends, and I always say this, that this is our country. This is my country. I'm not going anywhere. We die here. You know what I mean? When I say we die, like Nigeria, he's worked for Alhaji Aliko Dangote. He's worked for Alhaji Rabiu, you know, of Boasemen. He's worked for the likes of Femi Otedola, the likes of Tony Elimelu, the likes of Jimovia, the likes of Abbas Wigwe. He's worked for a lot of people. These are not politicians. These are people, you know, that they've been able to, you know, they worked hard for no matter how you put it. So there is opportunity in this country. And every single friend of mine that I left when I moved in 2012, the average person, about average person is a billionaire. Nobody works for anyone. The same guys, average person, they own their own houses. Now they're doing very well. I can say, sorry, I don't have money. If for some reason, can you borrow me 150 million? Or I need 300 million? Or I need 500 million? I can raise it from this group of friends. They can syndicate for you and say, okay, you need 500 million. This is it. But these were the same guys that stayed back home. Now they travel for vacation. You're going to London, let me come with you. We're going to go to Switzerland, let's go play it. So the end of the, to just wrap it up, Nigeria is a country with enormous potential. Even Africa as a whole. I was reading one report recently, just like 2 more minutes and I'm done before I open for Q&A. You know that today in India, as of last year, I think, was a country with the highest number, maybe a year before COVID, was a country with the highest number of poor people in the world. Do you know that in that same country, today, India has on Forbes list about 100 billionaires. 100 billionaires in dollars, as in 100 billionaires in dollars on Forbes list. I was like, wow. So in the midst of scarcity, there's also abundance. Andrew Carnegie said during the Civil War in America, that was the time he made his fortune. Carnegie at his time was the richest man in the world and created enormous wealth, you know, leveraging, as you know, making the best out of that situation. So let us stop making excuses. Let us find opportunities in this same country, and then let us, you know, let us be the best we can be. Nigeria works. Don't relocate. Let's make it. Thank you. That'll be all.
Wow. Thank you so much for that expose, for those wonderful tips that you shared with us. We can't just thank you enough because you've done a lot of things. If I might say, I think you've actually done for us an MBA in 40 minutes because, you know, you shared a lot of tips with us about ensuring that we are problem solvers. We should look for a problem to solve, that we should know what we want, that we should stop making excuses, that we should surround ourselves with quality people, and then you shared a lot of experiences with us, that we should try and face our challenges and never to give up, that we need to be open-minded, that we should be patient, and that we should even throw away the idea that we want to japa, because Nigeria has worked for some people, Nigeria is working for people like you, and Nigeria can work for every one of us. Well, I know that people have actually listened to you. They have questions in their hearts. So we will allow people to actually ask questions. If you are shy like me, you can drop your question in the chat. I can help you to read it up so that it can answer the question. And if you're not shy and you are bold and you want to unmute your mic, just raise up your hand with the raise up icon, the raise up hand icon, and then we'll unmute you so that you can get to ask your question. So your time starts now. You know, every time that Dapo spends with us is actually, you know, it's money. Time is money. So we can't afford to actually take a lot of time. So if you have any question, you can drop it in the chat. If you have any question that you want to ask, you can raise up your hand with the raise up icon. And then, thank you so much, Dapo. In fact, you know, I have known you for a while. I've studied you. It's working for you. I know it's working for you. So I have a question before I start reading the question. Okay, okay. So there's a question for you, but let me ask you this question, sir. So which other books, apart from Think and Grow Rich and Read That Poor Dad, which other books have you read that have actually shaped your entrepreneurial mindset? And then also, I haven't read all these books, and I know that you were making millions. And then the first time your organization made $1 billion was actually after your MBA. So would you want to tell us also what are the impact of the MBA program that you had on your business? You know, I knew when you were making millions, and that was before you went to the business school. But after you came back from business school, your organization was able to make billions. So what were the things you learned in business school? So probably maybe someone here might be scared to want to go into registering for a business school. So we will love to know that. Then the third question from Elvis is that, how are you able to build again when you lost all you had? So you cited an example of when you sold your house 11 years ago and the business didn't work. So everything crumbled, but you were able to build it from ground zero back. And now, in the past 14 years, you have been doing that particular business, that have been putting food on your table, and you've made billions from that business. You've been able to employ 36 people and about 350 people indirectly. So those are the questions, the first set of questions that we have for you, sir. Let me not clog you with a lot of questions. So if you have more questions, drop it on the chat or you raise up your hand. This is an opportunity of a lifetime for us to tap from the knowledge of this great man. Somebody said that a 20 minutes encounter with the right person might be more valuable than 20 years of study. So there are some things they will never teach you in school, but because of his word of experience, because of what he has gained over time, he can distill it to us in the next 20 minutes of asking insightful questions that will help us to get clarity and scale up in our life. Over to you, Dapo. Thank you, sir. You're still muted if you're talking, sir.
Okay. Yeah, you said, thanks a lot, Binga. You said the books I've read apart from Think and Grow Rich.
Yeah.
And the book by Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Yeah.
The book that had the most impact in my life was actually the book that was when I was at one of the lowest points in my life. It's called You Were Born Rich by Bob Proctor.
Yes, sir.
You Were Born Rich. That's the book that's had the most impact in my life. Oh. You Were Born Rich by Bob Proctor. Wow. The second thing, the second book that's had great impact is actually called The Success Principles by Jack Canfield. Both of them I've met in person, Bob Proctor and Jack Canfield. You know, these are the two books, you know, I would recommend that people should read. Because You Were Born Rich actually tells you like there's nothing you can achieve. It tells you you have to be very specific. And I'll tell you something. Tell me this is crazy. When I read You Were Born Rich, there was a time we used to run a training. Then we ran a training company, you know, then in Lagos. Mm-hmm. And as at the time, I was making on average, I think then the competition became so intense and business was at the low, well, for some reason. So then I used to advertise in Success Digest. My first workshop was actually Success Digest. You know, then the Success Digest was by the edition was twice a month. So we advertised, and then I think my first seminar I made about 800,000. Then maybe 2000, I can't remember when it was, maybe August 2006 or so, 800,000. So after we kept advertising to the same audience, it became saturated or so. So I was like, okay. So I read this book and it was like, what goal? What do you want to achieve? So I said, I want to move, very specific. I said, maybe I want to make #1 million by so and so profit. Maybe I shall put a particular date, I can't remember. And I said, I want to move into a 4-bedroom duplex in maybe Lekki. Those were the 2 goals I had. And then I needed a brand new car. You know, I wrote a brand new car. I was specific under Accord, brand new, 2007 at the time. Then I wrote, I want to move into a 4-bedroom duplex in Lekki. I wrote Lekki. Then I wrote, I wanted to make $1 million per month or so. Do you know that after I wrote the goals down in that particular book I read on the plane, I was coming to Abuja for a workshop. That workshop held at the Rockview Hotel. You know, was it Rockview or Chelsea? That seminar didn't turn out well. We had about 3 people. 3 people came, so I was frustrated, right? So I was going back to Abuja, going to Lagos. Then I read the book. I was reading on the plane. I wrote the goals down. Let me blow your mind. Do you know less than a year after, there's a friend, you know, I moved into a 5-bedroom duplex in Victoria Garden City. Then I think about maybe a year after I wrote that, I bought my first brand new car. It was a 2007 Honda Accord from Honda Place in Victoria Island. And we exceeded the goal of 1 million. I had a girlfriend at the time. So the person said, okay, you advertise on Success Digest every time. Why not let us try the Guardian? You know, it was an idea. I had a goal. And I said, the Guardian. He said, with 80,000 naira, we can do a quarter-page advert. See, some of people advertising on the Guardian instead of Success Digest. So you put Tuesday Guardian, and then we advertised on Tuesday Guardian, 80,000. Guess what happened? It was on a Tuesday. And I had this workshop at Excellence Hotel in Ogba, Ikeja. Ogba, Ikeja. That weekend, I made 1 million naira. Wow. It was just an idea, and I ran with it. We made 1 million 2007. Every weekend, 50 people came. The seminar was 20,000. 20,000 times 50. My first seminar in Excellence Hotel, we had advert in the Guardian. We had about 52 people. We paid 80,000 for the advert, 20,000 for the venue. We paid for projector, we paid for prints, everything. We rated $1 million. After I worked, what did we do? We scaled up. Do you know when I did the next seminar? Is it going to be 1 month after? I put another advert on another Tuesday in the Guardian the next week. We did another 1 million. And we kept doing it every week until we made enough money at the time. And that changed. So my best book, I'll say till date, is still You Were Born Rich by Bob Proctor. And I go to this guy's workshops in Los Angeles. I've been there to his workshops in California, in Los Angeles about 2-3 times. Anytime I go, he basically just puts my head and reshapes it. Like awesome guy. Awesome guy. So to the next thing, you talked about the business school. The business school was actually like a game changer. When I was going at the time, a lot of my friends thought I was crazy. They thought it was a waste of time. One of my friends who at the time lived in another country was doing very well. You know, he was like, why are you wasting your time to go to business school? The best education I got was actually in business school. I met a very good friend of mine who at the time helped, when we're in class, helped out, even financing some of my ideas by the name Warun, and some of the things we do today is different. The kind of structure we try to build, we're a small firm, but before I was a one-man business. I did the sales, I negotiated the contracts. I also did the admin. I kept the accounts in Excel sheets on my laptop. I did everything. There was no structure. But going to business school made me understand that you have to have the right structure. You have to have a system. You need to have your goal as an entrepreneur is to be able to work on the business, not in it. So like if I'm the one doing the sales, I'm the one, someone wants to do something, I'm the one doing everything, how will I be able to focus? How can I scale the business? I had an issue then delegating. All my friends, most of them that we still do the same export business, most people still do the business themselves. No accountant, no, as in no HR, but as in like no proper office. Can you imagine someone doing like 4 billion in sales a year that doesn't have an office? Does it make sense? You understand what I'm saying? As in like 3 billion, 4 billion, no office. They run the business from their home. So business school just made me see that you need to be able to build a structure. You have to do things the right way. And that really helped. And, there was clarity on where do I want to be. The goal is not to have NEVEAH limited only in this country, where we're like in Nigeria. I want to have NEVEAH AG tomorrow, something in Switzerland. I want to have NEVEAH NL, SA somewhere in Netherlands. We want to expand, have our own distribution center in Europe, build a proper company, like employ people, have offices in different states, do all these things. Business school changed a lot. I'll tell you today, for a fact, we're a small firm, but guess what? The going to business school made us start doing things the right way. Today, we use the #1 audit firm as our auditors. Can you believe that? #1. It's rigorous, but we use the #1. My auditors today, they are Deloitte and Touche. For our consulting work, we brought in PwC to do a turnaround for us, to change everything, create our target operating model for the company. PwC developed SOPs for NEVEAH from A to scratch, as in A to Z. They're working on it. They're with us for the next 6 months, trying to change the firm. Even when it comes to legal advice, before I used to use the same lawyer I was using in Pram 2, we had to fire and then start using a top law firm. We changed everything and we started empowering, employing more people. Business school helped set it straight up. Without the structure, without a team, it's impossible, to build a lasting business. And about starting back, what help is asked, like after you failed, I said something earlier that you have to learn to start with what you have. I remember at the time when I was going to restart NEVEAH, then I called a friend of mine. I said, guy, Warun, I was like, I'm trying to start this business back. I need some money. I called also then my girlfriend, now wife at the time. Sorry, I needed to probably, how much money do you have? Can we just raise some money, right? And then I was in school, that was it. We started. And then I also negotiated with my buyer at the time to give us some advance payment. Normally as a Nigerian, you not think the buyer will pay in advance before you buy the product. So somehow, some way, we got some, we just had to just manage and raise money from Warun. Warun, my friend, we met in business school, was helpful. Funded, gave some money. Okay, I believe in you. My then GFs, okay, I have some money, and then that was how we restarted the business gradually. And we started negotiating advance payments from suppliers. Some of our buyers give us advance payment. I mean, Nigerian people, do you think it's possible today in Nigeria to get advance payment from a supplier, from a buyer? They'll pay you in advance. Do you think it's possible? But today, some of our clients, they pay us 100% in advance before we ship the cargo. That was leverage. It was being smart. I spoke to the company. We need capacity. We need to scale. Like, can you give us advance payment? We've been working with you. Pay us. They pay 100%, 100% before we even move the goods out of Nigeria. So and that's called OPM, other people's money. And then we still make profit. That was how we started. Friends, and you're also using our suppliers' credit line, our buyers' credit line. And that was it, kicking back. I hope I've answered the questions.
Excellent. Thank you so much. You answered it perfectly. And then when you mentioned leverage, that leverage stuck a chord in me. Thank you. So we have two additional questions, one from Umar, and then the other one from Caleb. So Umar said, knowing fully well that starting a company or a business in Nigeria is very difficult, and the main killer of startups is not availability of capital. How do you direct someone like me in raising a capital? For Umar, that was a question from Umar. Then Caleb asked this question that, can you speak a bit more about somebody having people skill? Because it's like you are very excellent at that. How people skills have helped you in building your business, in leveraging support and funding from others, in being able to retain your staff and recruit the best. So those two questions, one about capital for startup, and then the other one about people skills, which they can perceive from the conversation that has been a wonderful so far, that you are very excellent at. You have those two questions, sir. I can't see any hands raised, yes. What I can just see is the question in the chat. Thank you, sir. Those two questions.
So thank you so much. I know that people will tell you that capital sometimes, it's not that easy to raise. I understand that. But like I said earlier, you need to sometimes look at family and friends. Those are people, that's like the easiest way to start. You look at your friends, who can help you? As in, who do you think has a capacity? We can't, like when I was in business school, the friend that helped me the most financially in life is still my friend called Warun. We were in school together. I went to business school in America. We were in business school together. We were project mates. We became friends. He's Indian. The guy is Indian. I'm Nigerian. He's only been to Nigeria once. And I told him, bro, I'm trying to do this business. We're friends. I need help. I'm trying to do so and so. Warren said, okay, why not? I think at the time he gave me, but do you think if I didn't ask him, do you think he would have helped me if I needed money? No. When I asked my GF at the time, sorry, madam, now my wife, sorry, okay, so and so, how much can you do so and so and so? Sometimes you have to be creative. People have access, they can help you, they don't even know. So I told Warun, so sorry, you have so and so, you have so on your credit card, you have limits, 30,000, let me use it, XYZ, blah. Very creative ways. So ask people around you how, people around you, look at family and friends, people that they can help. And you don't need to ask for a lot of capital. Now, today, we're trying to raise some money. It's a significant amount of money that will change our lives. But that wasn't how much we're looking for initially when we started out. So talk to family and friends. I need 1 million. I want to start. Think of starting small. What you can start with what you have. And then from there, as you scale up, opportunities will come. You have friends that are better off, family members, and then you can keep. People would sometimes tell you no. Don't say I got lucky with Warun. Don't say I got lucky because my GF at the time probably had some change. Sometimes people will reject, people will turn down your ideas, but you have to be persistent. Sometimes not even be people that are not family or friends. People, our associates, people and talk to them. This is my case. This is a business case. I want you to invest. Let's see what we can do together. Just reach out, and people, there'll always be someone that will say yes. And the second question about people skills, like trying to find the right talent, people that work for you. When we started out the firm, we used to have what I call the salary cap. So we just employ, we say accountants, 100,000 per month. Are you with me? So we cap the salary of the workers. My accountant's total pay today in the office, the guy, I don't think is 30 years old, or probably 20 something. He's currently earns about maybe over 400,000 per month, 425 or so. If you look at it, total, 425,000. I looked at it and I said, number one, we need to stop capping people's salary. Let us just say, so when we put job descriptions, we don't put salary there anymore. We just say, we need an accountant, we put your JD, people apply. And when people come, we try to interview them, see if they're right fit for the company. And then, so because number one, capping the salary will limit the number of people that will apply, a number of qualified people. If we put a salary of 100K and someone that is earning 300,000 will do the job, how will that person come work for us? No. But these people, even though we pay that well, they actually bring value to the team. They've been a blessing one way or the other. So I think that compensation should be reasonable, number one, to find the right people. Number two, you have to also ensure that these people have the best package. We are an SME, I call us SME. My auditors disagree, or my accountants, they don't always agree with us, but the vision is clear. So I say we are an SME. So think about it. I interviewed one person. I said, why did you leave where you were working before? Do you know why the employee left? She told me that she left, or the employee left, because there was no pension. But I was like, pension is just 10%. But this is actually a smart woman, someone very smart. So we figured out that, okay, wow, you have to make sure that employees are well taken care of. So we pay pension, 10% extra salary. Our employees have HMO. We use AXA Mansard for HMO. They have HMO. We have pension. They have group life insurance. They have group life insurance. So we contribute NHF, National Housing Fund. And so all these things we actually do for them. As we grew. So like they feel someone left as because of pension. We also pay taxes. We rarely pay taxes. We have group life insurance, we pay HMO, we do all these things. So the employees have a sense of what's it called, of belonging. Their decisions count also. There are times in the office where we've had to make a choice and we come to the management meeting. We had one yesterday at the office, and there was a decision about buying trucks for our haulage business. I was not interested in it. I said, no, I'm not interested. It's expensive. But when we all discussed the idea, it was a 270 million expense for the company to buy 5 trucks. Each truck is about 54 million. They made a case for it why we have spent 270 million on trucks. Do you know when we put it to board vote? My vote is only 1. I own the company 100%, or let me say 99.98% on paper. So one, as in my vote is 1. My employees, each person head of unit has a vote. Do you know they voted me out? Like, boss, we're going to buy the trucks. This is how it's going to affect our business. And when we ran so I stood up after they voted, we ran the numbers. It made sense. We're buying the trucks. And it's going to save the company a lot of money. I think 468 million in our first year minimum. 468. I think when my compliance officer was running numbers, he said actually 1.020 billion. The first time he ran it 468, this year, 1 year, it was 1.020 billion. So like the employees actually, they have this say, it's my business, but we work as a team. So that's why. And then we make sure they're well compensated. We treat them. You're not going to just have you travel by road. Like the meeting, like our boss is expensive. Everybody's traveling. No, fly everybody in. You can't just travel by road. We can't put you at risk. So there's a sense of belonging, and that's how we do to attract the right talent. I hope I've answered that question.
Excellently and perfectly. Thank you so much for this investment in every one of us. We so much appreciate you. We can't just thank you enough, because you've actually distilled a lot of value to us. Just like I will say again, you have just condensed the business school for us. You have made some recommendations. Some of the books you've mentioned, I'm very sure a lot of us will go and get them, and then we'll read them up. And if we have any further question, we'll see how we can reach out to you on social media, or even if we are going to be fortunate another time, we could do a 2.0 version of this particular conversation. By that time, there will be people that will come and share their testimonies based on what they've learned from your conversation today. We want to say thank you for this investment. We want to say thank you, Lord. Thank you for everything that you've done, for taking out the time. We know it's not easy for you to spare this for us. And I want to appreciate everyone that actually made this webinar a success today. If it didn't come, probably we will not be motivated to go ahead. But you signed up, and then you also participated. We want to say thank you. We hope to make this kind of conversation, at least, if not twice in a month, at least once in a month, where we bring somebody who is experienced in a field of endeavor to share their insight with us, so that we can use the knowledge that we gain from them, apply it on our life, and then get results. Thank you so much, my Senator Ibidapo Lawal, for a wonderful conversation. We appreciate you. We wish you all the best, and we look forward to sharing our testimony of impact, of success in business and entrepreneurship with you in the shortest possible time. We are top of the hour. I think what we can just do in the chat box, let's just encourage this facilitator. Let's thank him. Let's appreciate him for a good job well done. Thank you so much. By the time we are done with that, I think we are done for today, and see you another time. So just be on the lookout for our next advert of the next guest that we bring in on board to share deep insight with us from their world of experience. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, my facilitator today. Do have a wonderful evening or wonderful afternoon, depending on where you're logging in from. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye, and do have a wonderful time.
You too. Bye, everyone.